John, you lamented your defensive and your offensive approach sort of the last few days here. I wonder if you think you played with more force offensively with the puck, more confidence, and more sort of
I thought our first period was one of our better periods in a while. Not preseason, but even last year. I thought we had a number of good minutes in the first period. Second period, I don't think we were as good, obviously. But to me, the important point of the game was we have a lousy power play in the second period. They score on off a savvy, and our bench is this big. It's about an inch big. There's no life. There's nothing left on our bench. We struggle through the last 5-6 minutes there. We don't get hurt again, and we find a way to get our energy back and get our bench back and play a pretty good third period. I think that's a really good thing to happen early in the year. I wish we just play right through it in the second period and find a way to keep our energy. We didn't, but we found a way to win. So in a game 3 of the season, which I think it was a pretty important game 3 for three games into it, because you don't want to lose your first 2 home games. And so I'm happy the way we had to go through some stuff and found a way to win. Does that answer all the questions? I guess not.
After the first couple of games, you talked about the Dubinsky line being your best line. What are just your initial impressions of that line with Riley tonight?
Well, they did some good checking against just a top-notch player in McKinnon. I used him a little bit against him in that line. I thought they had the puck around the net. Yeah, they had some good shifts. I used him in Nash's line and Luke's line against their top line. So they did their job. I thought everybody contributed. Even, Sedzy's line had some good shifts. Kind of a bad change on their goal, on McKinnon's goal, with Sedsy leaves the ice and we just don't get it deep. But I don't want you to misconstrue them sitting a little bit in the third period through. I decided to stay with some matches with the 3 lines, and we rode the third period that way.
Tongue partially in cheek, John, but I'm assuming that when Brandon went out, you knew that his offense would be replaced by Marcus Nudavara?
You know what, Nudie, he could have, we talked in between periods, and I told him, I said, you could have 3 goals. And I think Nudie's a smart enough player to know when he had a chance to shoot the puck again, he says, I can't score, so I'm going to pass to Brett. And Brett scores. So Nudie was that pair. We started with Z and Savvy against their top line, eventually played Nudie and Murr against them. One thing about Nudie, he's really skating, and that's a big part of his game. I thought he played really well.
John, Alexander Wenberg tonight contributed in a couple of ways, a couple of primary assists. Your thoughts on his game tonight, and maybe a little bit of a springboard?
Yeah, he played better. Obviously, he makes some really good plays. The 2 assistant coaches spent the last couple of days with him going over video as far as how he's going about his business. The biggest thing with Wenny, and you could see more of it tonight, still not to the standard that I think he should be at. I think he was trying to make a difference. He was more reactive tonight. He like his passes. He sees them, bang, it's on the tape. And I thought his game had more flow to it. What we've been trying to get to him is not be afraid to make mistakes, but not to watch the game with his legs not moving. I thought his legs moved more consistently. I still think there's more there for him, but certainly a step in the right direction.
John, with Philip Grubauer, how much were you able to rely upon what you'd seen in the past in terms of preparing for him today, or could you really, because it's a different
system? Didn't say a word about him before the game. I didn't even know he was playing. The players know. I don't talk about the goalies. We put up a video throughout the whole hour or so before we play the game. The players can watch them. But I'll tell you what, I talked about a goalie the other night in Mac. After the first period, Mac was leaving rebounds everywhere in the first period. I talked about Mac, about put some pucks on him, the pucks are bouncing everywhere. He didn't let another rebound out the rest of the game. So I don't talk about the goalies anymore. And because I really think we jinxed ourselves, or I jinxed the team. And not running down Mac, but I just felt he was leaving a lot of rebounds. he didn't leave another rebound out the rest of the game, so I don't spend much time thinking about the goalies. You bet.
John, a quick follow-up on a specific part of Wenberg's game tonight. He had those feeds from behind the net or right below the blue line. It's a look we saw from him when he was with Vanek and Gender. Do you like that look from him? Do you like that approach to the goal?
Yeah, yeah. He's a good player back there in behind. And the thing I liked about it wasn't, you could see he wasn't thinking. He was just playing. And I think part of Winnie's problem is that he analyzes. I watch him. He's in that video room all the time watching his game, and I think overanalyzes his game instead of just playing. And that's what Lars and Shazi spent 2 days with him, showing him clips about just play. Here you are, you're watching. Just play. And I think his instincts will come back. He needs to be an instinctive player. And so we're trying to get some obstacles out of his way so he can just go play.
Foligno moved all over the ice last year for you because you needed him to, center ice included. Back at left wing, how much do you need him to be back to being an impactful offensive player as he was a couple years ago and has been before, talking multiple goals, 20-plus goals? You see that from him this year?
Yeah, it's important. He's a better winger. I know he feels more comfortable there. I want to try to keep him there. And it's a good night tonight that that line produced a couple of goals. Winnie and him. The biggest thing with Nick is I just want him to stay consistently involved in the physical part of the game. I think that's a big part of his success as a player is when he's involved physically also. The goal he scored in the third period, that's one hell of a shot. And he's a better winger. I'm going to try to keep him there just because he's going to be very important to give us some consistency through the lineup. Well, thank you.